Well, it's that fall time of year, and while we have the nice days, it's time to get ready for winter. I'm going to start in the back, and William has some other tips.
So yeah, indeed we do. And we're going to suggest that maybe one of the things you need to do at this time of year in the fall is to spread a whole new layer of slug bait. And the reason we think that is because, you see a lot of huge slugs right now, but those huge slugs are going to lay eggs, and then you're going to have a whole lot more slugs in the springtime. So get out there, put a layer of the slug bait down, and that'll really help come spring. Another thing we suggest doing right now is putting a general purpose lawn fertilizer on. The reason we suggest that is because it'll make the roots stronger, it'll make the lawn thicker because it's still going to grow for a while, and anything you can do to get a thick lawn will keep you from getting moss covered in it as much, and certainly weeds, so you've taken a step to protect and get ready for spring if you do that now.
Fall is also a good time to start harvesting your potatoes. Now the vines have started to die back, so that's a really good sign that the potatoes are ready. I like to do it by hand because if you do use a tool, sometimes you could damage the potatoes. So you just kind of go down into the soil, and then you just pull up the potatoes. Now these are really beautiful potatoes, but if there's any green on them, you just want to make sure that you do cut that off before you eat them because it can make you sick. Now you can take all these potatoes up today, or you can kind of harvest them as you're ready to eat. And it's also a great time to harvest your carrots. You can harvest them all at once or leave them in the ground and harvest them as you need them. And some people say they're even sweeter after a frost. It's also a great time to harvest your garlic and onions. Now onions you want to really harvest all at once and let them dry and use them. If you leave them in over the winter, they get mushy. Now garlic, you want to harvest it and use it, and you can replant at the same time. All you have to do is take it all apart and replant the cloves.
So we also wanted to talk to you all about moving some of the plants in. Some of these are the more tender plants that we call perennials, but really we know that there's those times that they're just not going to make it through the winter. So in a couple of weeks at least you should be bringing them in because you really can save them. Now you say, well, where do I put them? Well, if you have a greenhouse, that's a benefit. Also, if you have a covered closed-in porch, they can do well there. Even a garage can save their lives a lot of times. So like this beautiful streptocarpus, it can tolerate some cool weather, but you just don't want to lose it over the winter. And of course, the wonderful nonstop begonias, they really don't stop blooming, so you don't want to lose that either, so you want to bring it in. We also wanted to talk to you about pottery. Now, if you have a piece of pottery that is really special to you for whatever reason, or if you have non-frost hardy pottery, then we suggest that you move those in, whether to a garage or to a greenhouse again, or even a covered area just to protect them. And as you can see, what's happened to this piece of terracotta pottery, it'll start chipping. So that's a sign right there that you don't want that to happen. And if one of your favorite moderately hardy plants is in that pot, why, that's all the better.
It's also a great time to check your gutters. Make sure you clean them out before the winter rains begin. And you'll have more leaves, so make sure that you're checking on your gutters during the season. And while you're up here, check out your roof for moss. It's a great time to put down moss control.
Fall is a great time of year for planting, but we specifically wanted to talk about things like this wonderful daylily that we just got from Shriners with their new daylily department. Now remember, with daylilies, you just want to plant where the soil is right about where my hand is. You don't want to be going deep with them, just a very nice shallow planting. Also, it's a great time of year for irises to be dug up and split apart because you don't want them to get too tight or else they won't bloom as well. So also with this one, remember, leave a little bit of this top blooming so you're planting like right about there so the plant can really thrive. And don't forget, you're still planting stuff that has roots, so water it in deeply. Also, this is the time of year that you're going to do all kinds of bulb planting for spring blooms, wonderful bulbs just like tulips.
And even though we've had some showers, you can see this red bud is under drought stress. So don't forget to help it along and water deeply in the next few weeks before the fall rains begin. And when you're done with the hose, make sure you drain it and bring it in. It's also a good idea to go around the yard and collect all the tools you've been using all season. Clean them and put them away for winter, and then they'll be ready to use next spring.
And don't forget that fall is a wonderful time to harvest, so continue doing that. Things like this wonderful basil.
And tomatoes.
Ooh.
William.
What? I'm harvesting.
So don't forget, get out into your fall garden, do those chores, and enjoy the winter.